Alrighty. Let's yap a little bit about special weapons, because it seems like after the success of the legendaries and now the success of the Amir Drasil weapons, it feels like going forward, Blizzard is going to try and make a special weapon for every single character in the game, per raid tier. I don't know if that is the case. I don't know if we're exactly going to be getting special weapons every single time, but I'm not. I was gonna say I'm not sure how I feel about them, but I know how I feel about them. Um, because I'm probably in the vast minority of players in thinking and looking about these special weapons by going, well, to me, this just means that this is going to take me just that much longer to be able to get the items I want to make my character what not necessarily complete, but I need these items to make my character even, right? Because I want to be able to compete. I want to be able to prove myself in various ways. So to be able to get these items, and it's very important to get these items, it makes me feel like I am further away from having the character I want, and it's just going to take me more time to get these. Because let's take a look at this Befouler's Syringe. This is going to be the two-handed weapon for every spec that can use two-handed weapons outside of Agi. But even if you run Agi, you still have this as an option if you're not going to be running this trinket, I guess. I don't know. But this weapon also does not have primary stat for some reason. I'm assuming they're just going to add primary stat to this. Just strength and agility, because it doesn't make sense for every other special weapon to have primary stat, but not this one. It's very, very weird. One thing I do think is interesting as well. Actually, wait, no, this is 571 and this is 350, so disregard that. But a lot of people, the way I see these things is the way they're adding them into the game as chase items. Because you have this Befouler Syringe that does nature damage, and you go, okay, cool, well, let's take a look at, oh wow, we have a brand new ring added from the last boss as well that does bonus damage, has a high chance to grant you a dose of venomous potential at 5 doses. Basically, this ring is another one of those special rings that does damage. So everybody's going to want it unless the stat line is so terrible for them that they can't use it, right? So us as two-handed classes, we have a nature damage weapon that's going to be constantly, like testing this on the beta, this constantly applies the effect. So we're going to get a lot of value from it. But that just means that unless you have this weapon and this ring at the same exact time, you're pretty far behind in terms of damage and performance, which I think sucks. And then we have this item, another special item. This one isn't nearly as important, but it's receiving healing from allies has a high chance to restore mana to your ally and grant you buff versatility. That is technically a DPS gain because it gives you even though it's a small amount of verse, a percent more damage is a percent more damage. We have another special item too. Taking damage greater than 25% of your health grants you 1800 avoidance and increases healing taken by 10% for 10 seconds. This effect may only occur every 90 seconds. The weird thing about this item is if something would have done over 25% of your health and it retroactively gives you that avoidance as a mitigation point against that damage, then the thing is good. This thing isn't as crazy, but it still has potential as, hey, you get increased healing take. It's survivability in a cloak. So now we have, just as warriors, there's plenty of other items, and I'm not even talking about these trinkets as potentials. Like, we have plenty. I mean, there's even other trinkets that aren't even primary statted that we could potentially run. Like, whatever's going to be best is what's best. It's kind of whatever. But now we have, bare minimum, 4 special items as chase items. And I don't think this is because they're like, oh, everybody wants to complete their character. They want to get the complete set. They want to get their bis, and they want to be able to, and then they'll be done with the season, right? And we're adding all these special weapons because it increases play metrics, because people want to be able to finish their characters. Yet I don't care about that, and I honestly don't think that's why they're doing this. They're adding stuff because, like, hey, everybody gets a cool thing. Meh, right? I think that's the whole point, is everybody has a cool thing to look forward to. Which for a lot of people is good. For me, like I said, I kind of dislike the and even though it's way less mitigated with how the loot system works and how the upgrade system works, where you're getting mythic quality weapons from heroic after upgrading them, stuff like that, it mitigates that kind of like chance to not get these items because you'll be doing both difficulties for a while probably. But it's just something you look at and you go, at least I do. But I feel like the vast majority of people are going to look at these things and go, hey, oh wow, that's pretty cool, right? You get these cool things and these cool effects. I'm not sure about adding once again another trinket or another item ring, especially that does a lot of damage actually, and it's something that can be used by everybody, not just by people using nature damage. I wonder how that's once again going to affect tanks and healers who probably are going to want this item just because it's going to do a lot of damage for them, right? Imagine it like just a tank and a healer just having these items will do a bunch of damage too, as well as having DPS is going to be a part of the BIS list. But with everybody wanting and going for these items, it means that people like me, not to say, oh, I deserve it. What about me? Me. It just means it's going to take longer. It's just going to take way longer to just get the stuff you want. And maybe the fix for this is they add the bullion type item, right? The dinar type item. I don't think if they ever added the dinars to a regular season, I don't think these items should be near the beginning of the season. I think they should at least be a month and a half in. You should only really be able to get one of them. Mythic Plusers should also be able to get one of them. And also, I think something they could add is the ability to pick a Mythic Plus item as well as raid items. Because honestly, this is something, once again, that's very me-centric, which is in Season 1 of Shadowlands, I ran 10 Mythic Plus dungeons every single week at plus 10. I think it was like, I don't remember what the exact level was to get the max item level. I don't remember if it's like 10 or 15. I don't remember the exact number. But I ran the Mythic Plus to get the max item level thing the whole season, and I never saw a single vial of purification at item level 226 at the max item level you could get it. Didn't see it once. Filled my vault every single week. And I think that's something they really need to consider going forward is, hey, if there's items out of these dungeons that could be best in slot, you need to be able to get that item at the max item level and not just through this fucking cartoon Great Vault system. There needs to be some form of protection against that later on in the season. One of the things I don't want is, let's say, oh, you can get a bullion piece, but it costs like 3 to 4 weeks of taking the vault currency, right? Which what's going to happen is if they do that and it's put into the early season, some people are just going to say, oh, got a bad vault, and just take that until they get their bullion item, or I keep calling it bullion, their dinar item, and they're going to ignore upgrades to get that. And I think that's something that shouldn't happen. That's definitely something that we don't want to happen and would be a mistake for sure if it was implemented in that way. But I really do think there needs to be some way to be able to get these special items and somehow complete your character. But once again, I could be the vast minority on this. I'm just soured by that experience. I'm soured by waiting 3 plus, I think it was like 3 months or so to get Fearlath. And not only did I get Fearlath, my class was balanced around having Fearlath, so I was just net negative at least half of the fucking patch because I just didn't have my special weapon. That shit should never happen again. And if it does, they have sorely made a massive, massive mistake. But I'm kind of getting off topic here. And really, it's just about these special items, right? These items that they seem very happy with. I don't think they're there to increase player metrics. I don't think they're there to... I just think they're there as fun chase items. But I don't know. It just kind of bothers me. I've just been irked too many times by this special shit that maybe you'll get, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be able to play your class. Maybe somebody else is doing 4 to 5% more damage than you because they've got the ring and you don't have the ring. Haha. Like that shit just sucks ass. It really does. So I just I find myself so torn talking about it because I like having special cool stuff, but I hate the acquisition rate for things that vastly affect my character's performance. It's like the fucking unholy gem set from Sanctum of Domination. It's not nearly that bad. That was a fucking terrible example, but you understand where I'm coming with this, right? You understand why I feel so negative against these special items, because I was just about to go back in circles about, well, because maybe some people like it. Oh, it's a chase item. Oh, blah blah blah. It's just, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just being a giant wah baby about this shit, and it is very possible I am, but I simply would rather, because I think that honestly, I think the honest answer is I simply don't care if there is special items or not. I just want to be able to perform the best my character can perform, and the addition of special items makes that hard. That's it. I think that's literally it from top to bottom. That, yeah, the special items are cool, but for players that are definitely more performance minded like me, I think they're problematic for a variety of reasons, primarily due to acquisition. And that could be just a lot of negative bias, being spurned by Fearlath, being spurned by the Shadowlands Season 1 story as an example. But I just really, really hope that I'm just going to go in circles again, man. I'm just going to go in circles again. There's a lot more availability to get these things. You can do normal, heroic, and mythic. Actually, can you do normal and heroic? Yeah, I think you can. You can do normal, heroic, and mythic to try and get your special items. And while that's cool and all, and I do think the upgrade system certainly mitigates some of my negativity towards it, I just really wish that my performance wasn't as directly tied to the RNG procurement of said items. And does it feel good when you get them? It does. Even to me, it still feels good when you get them. But I think the problem is that it feels way worse when you don't have them compared to getting them, because there's no path to get these things. It is just, you have it or you don't. And I'm just going to talk in circles over and over again. I probably spend most of this video talking in circles about these things, and I honestly don't think I like that everybody gets something special every single time, every single raid. You all get a special thing, which I think in something that's not going in circles, talking about the raid design, and talking about the item design and how it lets them be creative with stuff. Like, this weapon is definitely made in mind with this ring. There's no fucking shot it's not, right? There's no fucking shot there's a weapon that constantly applies poison. Constantly applies poison. That gives you a double dose of doing gives you a double stack by doing poison damage. There's just no shot there isn't. I don't know. Honestly, how do you guys feel? I don't want to do the whole, oh, comment for engagement. Yee! Like, favorite, subscribe. Haha, click that like button below. Hit the dongle with the fucking Oompa Loompa yourself. Shove a corkscrew up your ass. Like, just, what do you feel about these items? Because realistically, these items are nothing and mean nothing, and you'll get them eventually, and they'll just be doing things for your character, right? Like, getting this item, or this item, or this item, or this item will never change how you play your character. Literally never. They're just a little bonus. But not having them feels like, oh man, I wish I had, I wish I had, you get what I mean, right? It feels worse to not have it than than there to be nothing special at all. Not the when everybody's super, nobody is. Not even like that. It's just, I don't know, man. I just don't like them. I just really don't like all of these special items with special effects and all this special shit. I think all the special things should be tied to, like, trinkets, maybe, and not weapons and rings and necklaces and cloaks. Because it also means that like, Arms Warrior is kind of lucky in this regard. Haste, good for Arms Warrior. Crit, good for Arms Warrior. Big Haste, good for Arms Warrior. Haste Crit, good for Arms Warrior, right? Like, these items go well with Warrior, and even if you're running Fury, the amount of damage this ring is going to do, you're probably still going to be wanting to run it, because you have the Befouler Syringe that's also going to be doing damage, so you're going to be running with both, but realistically, it doesn't fucking matter, man. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's pixels on a screen. I don't know why I feel this way. It's just, I don't like having my character's performance tied so closely to RNG stuff. But at the same time, I'm conflicted, because when you get these items, when we kill Queen as your neck, and you get your mythic ring, when you finally get all of your mythic pieces, when the Exodia comes together, you feel strong as fuck. And it's a great feeling to be able to be like, now I can just fucking blast. And I don't have to worry about this. Don't have to worry about that. We're just fucking owning, right? I have everything. I don't have to think about gear ever again. But we're here, and I'm thinking about gear, and I'm here on YouTube for, what is this, 18 minutes, complaining about shit that doesn't matter, because I'm fucking a dumb little baby fucking idiot doing my thing. Baby wants his bottle and he wants it now. It just... Sorry, I think I'm too close to my microphone. I'm like fucking redlining it. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it, man. I'm gonna cut the video here. Because I could literally go in circles for 45 minutes at least, just talking about this shit and getting absolutely nowhere. So before I do that, I'm just gonna hit the stop record button. Let me know if you like them, don't care, or you hate them. I'm assuming the vast majority of people honestly probably don't care. I shouldn't care either. But I look at them and I go, man, I wish there wasn't so many special items that other people are going to want for me to get. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.